Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today's video is another Christmas thrift with me at Value Village. So this was filmed a few weeks ago, but it was filmed a few weeks after my last one, so the shelves were definitely filled out quite a bit more. I was a little jealous. They had this huge pile of boxes that were all labeled Christmas 2023, but they weren't unboxed, but I'm assuming they were already priced if they were out on the floor like that. But I was curious to know what was in those boxes, but luckily the shelves were quite filled out compared to the last video, which I can link that below. There was quite a bit out that period too, but nowhere near as much as what they had out during my last visit. I thought this little snowman dish would be really cute for snacks, but not for $6.99 used. See this little snowman candle when I first came in, but I couldn't reach it, so I reached through the other side. I was expecting it to be a lot cuter and more vintage looking, but it's not really that cute at all. Definitely saw a lot of nativity sets during this visit. A lot of them are still like in the boxes. And then I loved this wooden bell kind of toll painting. It just had a very 1970s, maybe early 80s kind of look to it. And it was done in the 80s. I love when like people put their names in the year on things like this. Just very cool, but I just really love that. I thought it had a lot of detail. It was just different looking than a lot of the 90s kind of toll painting things you see. I really liked this ceramic snowman. I thought it had kind of a vintage look to it, but I didn't really like that it was pastel. I felt like that didn't really fit with my vibe, but I probably would have got it if it would have been like traditional Christmas colors maybe. Whenever I see ornaments like this, I always put them in my cart just to check and see if they're worth reselling. Sometimes they can be worth quite a bit of money. So I think that was a Star Wars one, but I feel like maybe we didn't end up getting it, or maybe we did to resell. I can't remember. And it wouldn't be a thrift trip without seeing some Christmas geese of some sort. I feel like Christmas teddy bears were very big in the 80s, and this was no exception. I think it was 87. But I just feel like whenever I see teddy bear Christmas things, it kind of reminds me of the 80s when I was a kid. I feel like, yeah, it was just like the popular thing. And then I feel like in the 2000s, it was snowmen. And I feel like that's all I've been seeing this year is kind of like 2000s, late 90s looking snowmen. I feel like it's 90% of what I'm seeing. Sometimes these keepsake ornaments can be like worth reselling, but a lot of times they have a high price tag on them, like especially at Value Village. So like $15 for an ornament isn't really a good price for reselling something. So I wanted to quickly kind of peruse through the bags to see if there was anything worth getting. I used to find a lot of stuff for myself, like vintage things for myself in here in years past, but I haven't really had that much luck in the last probably 2 or 3 years, unfortunately. A lot of times it just seems like it's a lot of junk, but you can find ornaments like here. We found this, well, I found this Snoopy ornament. We did end up buying that to resell. I think it might have already sold as well. I think it sells for like 25 maybe. But I will say this was a very good trip in the sense that I found something so crazy in one of those bags. I still can't believe it. Like, it was only $3.99, I think, so you'll see it here in a little bit. But moments like this are what keep me wanting to still go out and thrift, even though most of my trips are disappointing, if I'm being honest. But I found like a vintage item that I just can't believe I found for so cheap. So stay tuned for that. I really like these candy canes. I don't think they're vintage, like maybe 90s, I don't know. But I couldn't believe that they were $8 for these. I don't know, to me that seemed like a lot of money. I was expecting them to be maybe $3. I don't know, maybe I had unrealistic expectations, but I felt like $8 was just a lot for those. I don't actually have anywhere to put them anyway, so it's unlikely that I would have actually bought them, but I do really like them. Then I had the whole other side of the bagged wall to check out. I was kind of moving around just to avoid getting in other people's ways. But I noticed this. I'm pretty sure that little monkey, it might be from like Dora the Explorer. That's what I want to say. I used to babysit this little boy, and he loved that show back in the early 2000s. I keep seeing a lot of these holiday friends. I actually have a bunch, but I'm selling them because I don't know, I don't really use them. And I have a bunch of those fireplace ones too, where you put the candle in, like very 1980s. So then I wanted to take a quick look through the like linen area of Christmas, which they had way more out than they did the last time I was looking through. And I wanted to like kind of quickly look through it, so I don't think that I filmed all of that, because it was starting to get very busy in the store. And I was like, okay, we need to try to hurry this up, because we were going to a few other stores in the same day. But I did see this, what I'm calling a tree skirt, but it reminds me of kind of the 70s like felt stockings, but it's what I'm calling a tree skirt. It doesn't have a hole in the middle though, but I don't think it would be a tablecloth. So I did end up getting that. I did end up getting a few things like I show you at the end of the video, but I just kind of quickly browsed through things. Really, I was mainly looking for stockings to resell, and I thought maybe I might see something vintage that I wanted, but other than the tree skirt, I didn't find anything. I remember in my last video, one of you mentioned in the comments that you loved looking through the trays, so I thought I would try to look through all of the trays that I saw. So there was a couple there, but then I did end up finding a bigger stack. This teddy bear with the blocks definitely gives me a very 80s kind of looking vibe. And then, of course, snowman had to make an appearance. I loved this tray so much, but I just don't really have a use for it. It's not vintage, but it kind of has that 1970s vintage look. So I did really, really like that one a lot. There's another one, too, I think that I really liked. So there's a tree one. Yes, this one with the bells I really, really love too. It just has that kind of vintage feel to it, although it's probably not vintage. I don't know though. This one didn't have a barcode on the bottom, so it might be made in Hong Kong, I think. So that probably means like 80s. I'm not entirely sure, but I think all their trays are only $2, which is actually pretty reasonable, like considering. So I had something interesting happen on this shopping trip that has actually never happened before in all of the time I've been making these videos. But this man came up to me while I was filming and he said, "Are you filming a thrift video for YouTube?" I said, "Yes, I am." And he said, "Oh, I love watching those videos," which I thought was neat. That's never happened before. He was probably in his late 50s, early 60s, so I thought that was interesting. But I actually I try to be super respectful while I'm filming and so that I'm not filming other people, but I don't really like to draw attention to myself in that way. So the fact that he noticed that I was filming, I don't know. I try to block out that people might be watching me do it, but having him come up to me and say that was just so weird that it's never happened before. But he was really nice about it though. Right after that happened is when I had my great discovery. So I was looking at the end caps at this point, and then I happened to look down and see this bag with this dancing Santa who's flocked, and this whole bag was only $3.99. There was some other things in there. I don't think I kept anything else, but I just couldn't believe that I had found this dancing Santa for $3.99 in just the most random of places. It's funny because I had been looking online. Someone was selling one for, I think, $15, and I was kind of on the fence about whether or not I should get it or not, and I just hadn't got around to making that decision, and then I found that, and I couldn't be happier. Now, to be fair, I'm pretty sure they were still making these, up into the 90s, so it's possible that it's not that old, but it is in incredible condition, and I guess the 90s is 30 years ago, so it's probably at least 30 years old, but it might not be, from the 70s. Alright, so now I will show you everything that I got on this trip. So I did end up getting this tree skirt. I'm just going to call it a tree skirt. I feel like it's more likely a tree skirt than something you put on the table, but it's very like felt like material, and I did end up putting it under my tree. I have a fake tree with just like little legs on the bottom, and I think it looks fine. And then I found this treasury of Christmas ideas by Better Homes and Gardens. If you know, if you watch my channel, I collect Better Homes and Gardens cookbooks, but I've also been collecting their craft books and then some Christmassy type books too. I like the ones that are a bit older. I do see some from like the 90s and the 80s that I generally just pass on, but I love the cover of this one. It's just very groovy. And I did find this DVD of the Rockettes, which I thought would be really festive. I haven't watched it yet, but like I've seen their show before, and I just thought that would be a cool thing to own. Very festive. So then, as I showed before, I did get the Santa for $3.99. They had some other things in the bag, but I don't think that I kept anything else. Nothing else was worth it to me, but generally this happens a lot when I buy these bags. I just fill up a bag with all the extra things that I don't want, and I just donate them either back to that thrift store or a different thrift store. So I got this bag that really I just wanted this ornament, the Bumble from Rudolph. We have a bunch of those ornaments that we put on a tree in our basement, so but they're kind of expensive for like a single ornament if you buy them from, like, usually they sell them at the card store here, so I try to thrift most of them. So I wanted that one, and then this bag I ended up opening so I could show you better, but just had a bunch of random stuff in it. But these little Christmas candles have a very 1960s look to me, so I thought those would be cool to have. So really I think that might be the only thing I ended up keeping from that bag as well. I usually just kind of determine whether or not I think that the one thing or two things I want in a bag is worth the total price, and if it is, I get it. Sometimes I don't get things if I think it's too much for the one thing, but this bag just had some like gift tags and these gift card things, which I felt like I didn't really have a use for, so I think I ended up donating those. But anyway, that is it for this Christmas thrift with me and haul. I hope you enjoyed this video. I have a few more of these already filmed. I've been sick for the past week and a half, so I wasn't able to really record voiceovers, or I didn't feel like doing any editing at all actually, but I did film a few more on this same day, so hopefully I can get those edited and posted before Christmas. And I think I might post like a Christmas decor tour as well if I get time for that. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I will hopefully see you again really soon.